Hey everyone, I'm Carlos Davalos, and you're listening to Stories of Ours by Vision2Reality Foundation. This is more than just a podcast, it's a space for courage, resilience, and reinvention. Each episode, we dive deep into real journeys of newcomers to Canada, the challenges they've faced, the breakthroughs they've earned, and how they turned uncertainty into opportunity. Whether you're starting fresh or chasing new dreams, these stories are here to remind you that you're not alone and greatness lives within you. Let's go. Thank you very much, Roberto and Tatiana, for being here. It's such a pleasure. We've had a great conversation in the past, so I know you both very well. Um, so before we start the conversation, I would like to start on kind of the beginnings. So first of all, just quickly, what brought you to Canada and what were your first impressions when you arrived? Like, for example, first impressions in the sense of what were your expectations, your aspirations, etc. Maybe Roberto, you can start.
Yeah, exactly. Go, Robert.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, Carlos, first of all, thank you for the invite. I'm a huge fan of Vision to Reality, what you're doing, what Win is doing with the team. So really appreciate the opportunity, and it's great to be with Tati chatting again. So I think for me, what I was expecting from Canada was truly a challenge, and I think part of that fear of not having security in almost any sense was something that I wanted to try at some point. Of course, I think the nature in Vancouver, the landscapes, the place by itself was a lot of that motivation. But I think a big part of it was also the challenge that came with the transition. So for me, I wanted to prove myself that I was able to go to different roles, to new companies, to a new industry, which I at the end was able to do. So I think that was it for me.
How about you, Tati?
Um, the same that Roberto, thank you for this opportunity to say a little bit about my experience here in Canada, for the opportunity to be part of a Vision to Reality Foundation until this moment. Basically, I think so that when I arrived, my first expectation was about to come back to the school. For me, was I had a lot of time without be in a formal education again, and my expectation was about how I going to handle it again, come back to the university and use a new language for me in this
Mhm.
new environment and be fast in the process to adapt my skills to this environment. And it was my obviously the city was another thing. Because I come from Colombia, where it's a country with a different infrastructure in many ways, and be here and be all the infrastructure that the city has in many ways, it was surprising for me. But at the same time, I was prepared to see that kind of differences in the culture and in the city and in the way to manage different things here in the city. But basically was related with my skills with the language and the come back to the school and study again with a routine and everything related with that.
And in some sense as well, like once when you came, what was your professional identity at that moment? Like before you come into Canada, like how did you imagine your career transition from being an international student or a new immigrant into inserting yourself in the job market?
When I was working in Colombia, I was working all the time in human resources. That is my background, and I have been working in that for 20 years until this moment. And I choose a program very related with that too. I am studying an activity in human resources too. Then in that specific point, I was thinking in my mind, this is going to be more about the same that I already know. When I arrive, I noticed that no, it's not the same. They have a different approach, they have different laws. I imagine that, but I realize that definitely the laws and the rules, in the way that you handle the human resources field is a little bit different in that way. Then here, more than do a transition, my expectation was in that moment how I can adapt my experience to this new environment and how I can fix in that environment in my field with my expertise. Through the time, I have been learning or acquiring new skills, and now I can say, oh, I am not just a person that is working in human resources. I have another skills, and I can reach out another kind of fields with my background. But I have to, to get out the hat of human resources and put another hat for be ready for that. And there is a transition that I am handle with in this moment, basically, because I am close to finish my program, and I have some challenges in that way. Then for that reason, I am trying to fix in different fields at the same time and look that way.
Yeah, I think in my my case, for example, I when I came here, I thought, okay, I had experience in developing an e-commerce platform in Peru from scratch. I came here, okay, I'm gonna work in Shopify. I came with that mindset, right?
Mhm.
How about you, Roberto?
Was like that is exactly what I was going to mention. I think when we are planning and designing this transition, we try to make ourselves believe that we can do it. So you start matching. Okay, if I did this back at home, back in Mexico, back in Colombia, I know that maybe Shopify will have something for me in the e-commerce side. On my end, it was sponsorships. Like
Yeah, I know.
my previous job in Mexico was at a sponsorships team at a baseball team. So for me, I can tell you, I created an Excel matrix with, okay, this is the best position, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Maybe after that, the Canucks. Maybe after that, the BC Lions. Maybe after that, working at branding or sponsorships at different companies, like top companies in Canada, like TELUS. I think something that I didn't know I had and something that helped me to have a successful transition was having the open mindset of maybe it won't happen, because as you can imagine, Carlos, and I'm sure that this is something that you faced, is it's not like Shopify was waiting for us or the Whitecaps were
Yeah.
waiting for us. It was just a bit harder. So just having that open mindset of, okay, maybe my plan A is not working, but there's B, C, and then we'll get to double A, double B, double C. I think that's something that we all have in this conversation, and maybe we didn't know we had it, right?
Yeah. No, and actually for me, at the beginning, I was obsessed on Shopify. So, and people told me, hey, no, it's impossible to enter Shopify. Like you shouldn't even apply. I thought, okay, like I will try it. Like maybe you can, but I will. So I started networking people, and then was the humbling part started to come. But well, there, of course, there's always a transition, and to you both, well, there's also the emotional side. Okay, now I want to shift into a mindset kind of side. So immigrating is as much emotional as logistical. More even, I think, maybe for families, there's also different struggles as well. Can you share a moment where your mindset was really tested? Like, where you thought like, oh man, like this really hit me hard.
I can when I arrived, my first shock was my law classes. when I came from an HR background, and I was expecting only talk about HR, and in that field I had some knowledge and some vocabulary related with that. But the first three classes with that teacher, with that lawyer, talked to me about law and different specific words that doesn't have any sense for me. Was wow, what are you doing, what I am doing here? I don't know if I am going to be capable to obtain these results that I need to obtain. I was so concerned. For three classes I was like just observing and trying to catch something and trying to understand the environment. And after a while I say, no, you have to be more resilient. You have to forget that and fix fix. I'm looking for strategies to understand and try to fixing the environment and obtain the result that I need. It was a real challenging, a real challenges for me, cause crying nights. But I am here now, almost ending the program, and I am surprising about the evolution and the growing that I have been doing this while.
How about you, Roberto?
I think for me it was my first job in Canada. I think I came from an extremely lucky position where my first job was a very glamorous position, a junior marketing intern at a baseball team. We had the VIP suites and stuff, and getting here, my first job was a retail job. I was a salesperson at Coach in Tuason, and I think the reality check really punched when they explained, okay, this how you will will clean the washrooms. Here's the vacuum. Here's how you'll do the mopping. And it was wow, okay, things will be a bit different, at least at the beginning. But I think it's part of it, and it's something that maybe wasn't part of that perfect design, and it wasn't part of my
That's true.
matrix in my Excel sheet that I was working on. But I still look back, and even if I had the chance to jump right into a corporate position or into an office position, maybe I would still take the retail job because it gives you so many skills on how to talk to people, how to be humble, how to see how maybe we all started like this here in Canada, no matter where you came from, no matter how old you are. People from university probably work retail. People coming from wherever in the world, no matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe that's how you started. So I think that was a kind of a reality check. But I still look back and appreciate the lessons.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, me too. I think I relate to both. I think on school in certain moments, I was thinking like, hey, because of course you see your bank account dying
Downtown.
besides you, yeah. So at a certain moment, I thought like, hey, I really need to work, and
Yeah.
at a certain moment I had to sacrifice in some sense. Hey, I need to start like working and maybe focusing a bit less in school. Well, I had thankfully I had good grades, but I had to shift, and also I had my first
Hopefully,
job.
you were pretty smart, Carlos.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was decent, and but still I need to sacrifice a bit. So and the thing is, at the beginning, no one hired me in other positions than retail or something. So I thought, okay, I'll go and work here in Safeway next to my house at a couple of blocks, and I worked in the overnight shifts. So I think
Mhm.
after 4 months, that's when actually the shock came. I think I was depressed. I was weighing, my weight was 65 kilograms. And right now I'm in 85. So look at the big difference.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yesterday I was seeing pictures with my wife, and actually you could see like you could see me and say like, hey man, this guy had a really big problem with drug addiction or something because he was not good. And well, but the cool thing was that I also I also don't regret of that phase because I actually learned a
Mhm.
lot. And I think at that moment and in my 4th month approximately, my wife told me, "Hey, you need to wake up, and move on and just push through." And she just gave me a book. And actually,
Mhm.
because I didn't have time to read books, she just told me, "Hey, okay, if you don't want to read it, here's the YouTube kind of recording, so listen to it."
Uh-huh.
It was Heal Your Life from Louise Hay. Okay, I know if you know her.
Mhm.
And I heard that
Mhm.
book, and that changed my mindset completely. And why? Because I was working overnight and putting the displays and
Mhm.
things, I could hear music, whatever. So I started to
Okay.
learn, and I spent 1 year, boom, learning and learning things. I was like in school every night, And certain moments I remember I was returning back home 5 a.m. in the morning, snowing, and then returning fired up, like,
Yes.
and coming back from the night shift, going to study. So, and also I passed out a couple of times. So, yeah, I know it's a reality check. Yeah. And to Roberto, you mentioned shifting from, well, in our conversations, we know you shifted from digital marketing to sales. Uh, was there like an inner voice or moment that helped you make that leap? And what fears did you overcome? And what fears did you quiet down in some sense?
I think the inner voice maybe wasn't around sales specifically. I think I know you know this story, but I had a boss that told me, "Hey, Roberto, you need to move to sales if you want to show direct results." So he moved me to a sales position at my previous company. It was a publishing company, publisher of the Vancouver magazine, BC Business. So my inner voice didn't come from sales only. I think it was the pace that I wanted to have in my career and the characteristics of the workspace I was at, the industry. So through relationships and even my girlfriend that I met here, she was working at a tech company, sales, and I saw her pace. I saw what she was doing. I saw how much she grew in through those positions, and I said, this is what I want to be doing. This is the industry I want to be at. This is the pace I want to be growing at. So yes, there was an inner voice that made me uncomfortable in that previous position. And were there fears? Absolutely. First of all, Tati, I know this is it was a big one for me. The language. I was like, the first job is mainly doing cold calls. Like, what if the first impression you get for a company is this Mexican guy? I don't understand you. I don't know what your company is, and I don't know what you're saying, man. So that was really something that I had to just close my eyes, jump in, and take the
Oh,
risk. It took a while for me to get comfortable just doing the job, and I can tell you, I had this moment, and maybe that was also one of the biggest issues. I had one day where I was doing the calls. If they picked up, they were hanging up the phone on me. If not, they were not even picking it up. My emails not opened, not replied. There was one day that I had to go to the washroom and cry because I thought I was not going to make it. And it was tough. My whole team was in the US. The people working here in Vancouver were part of different teams. I had not a manager here. Maybe I had some couple of people I talked to, but it was tough. But I mean, it's part of it. After that, it was the best decision I've taken professionally for sure.
That's
I
for sure.
resound a lot with you because one of you have totally right when you say our language, our origin. You say, in my case, I found a way to broke the ice with that. When people ask me, where are you from? I always say, you know, who is the Toti Vergara? Who is Sofia Vergara? And they say, yes, okay, she is where I am. Then I say, it's a way to break the ice and in some way to try to hide the fear that I feel. Don't don't be accepted like I am. And in the last meeting that I had with my manager, I am working now part-time with Douglas College, is in the Career Center. And the manager of business development there have been a very inspirational found because in some moment I talked with her about my future here and about the things that I want for me and my fears. And she told me, you know what, you have a big profile, you have a interesting experience. What is your biggest fear? And I told her my language. Maybe I feel that I can do a good interview because I am not capable to talk with a manager in this high level where maybe they expect something from me like a human resources person. And she told me like, I am a manager and I am Canadian. And you are talking with me. You are doing everything well. You don't have to be fear about that. You don't have to feel any kind of shine about that, because you are doing exactly everything that you have to do for obtain that opportunity. And I know that eventually it's going to happen. And during this time, I have been working a lot in increase my confidence, in remind to myself every time that I have experience, that I have knowledge, that I have skills, that I gain more skills here. And now I am talking in a second language with you too. Saying I am capable to do the job, then that is something that you have. Maybe that is a big change in my mindset, and is believe that I am capable even with my limitations. I am here talking with you, and I am speaking in
And Tatiana, how did you push
English.
through that? Like, how did you overcome those kind of mindset limitations that you had? Like anything that you applied, you read any books, you heard,
Mm.
yeah, what did you do to kind of overcome that? Or what are you doing to overcome that?
In my case, is be open to talk with everyone. In my case, I have this skill that is personal skill. I don't feel chained to be me. I don't feel chained to make mistakes. Then I talk with everyone in everywhere. Wherever I am, in an office, in a market, in the wherever I am, I try to speak with another people in English. I think so that helped me a lot to be more confident. But at the same time, I think so that now I have a 6 months, a little bit more, working in a total Canadian environment. In the office, the only Latin person is me. Then I am working with people from Nigeria, China, Canada, all people that is not from my country, then or Latin origins. Then I have to speak English all the time, read emails, write emails. Then I think so that that is something that I have been doing all the time and help me to improve my confidence with the language. I know that I have to study. For sure, I have to study some things, but in this moment, I don't have time. I only have exposition. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And Roberto, do you apply anything in special, like reading or talking to people? I know you surrounded yourself with pretty cool people like Peter Leck and Ryan Ben, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think for me, yes, definitely Peter transformed how I thought about my career, my growth, my personal growth, especially when he became my mentor at that internship position that Douglas College specifically provided. So this is a small world. Um, in addition to that, and all the books, audiobooks, like same as you, Carlos. For me, I remember that the moment I was really looking forward to was early mornings. Like I was probably one of the 0.9% of the global population that was looking forward to waking up at 4 a.m. But for me, it was to read my book and then have time to work out and then have time for work and school and everything. So there was like a year where I woke up 4 a.m. every day, read my book, get motivated, get excited about everything. And I even tried, I don't know, like writing the things that I wanted for me to happen every night before going to sleep, trying to have that mindset. And I mean, if I look back, I think maybe some were kind of different, maybe some were not as specific, but I'm sure that if I opened that book, most of them became true. And something that I wanted to ask you and Tati is, did you ever have this feeling when you realize that the main limitation that I think a lot of the times we think about the limitation on the language, right? I
Mhm.
think we all think, hey, I don't know if I will get this job because my English. I don't know if I will be able to study as much and as fast and build a project in a couple of hours instead of 2 days because of the language. I think For me, there was a huge moment when I said, wow, the day I feel comfortable with the language, it's not about my background, it's not about where I come from, it's not about my university, it was just the language. So I think if you see it from the other side of the coin, it's okay. Once I overcome that difficult and maybe mind block that I have, then everything gets
Better.
crazy easy.
Yeah.
At least I had that kind of that view.
I
I
am
think it's
in the
probably
same
believing in
page that
yourself,
you.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I am in the same page that you. When you let that go and you feel confident, even with your limitations, you can do it. But in the moment, yes, I am doing that journey. I had to take a mentorship with a person in the CPHR to realize that was me, not the environment, not my background, not my experience, not my knowledge. It's me and my idea that I have a limitation. Then when I realized of that, I was crying. Why? In what moment I lost my confidence? In what moment I talk? This is another sentence that I use a lot. Is you don't know how smart I am in Spanish. You don't know how many things I can resolve in my own language. Then that idea in my mind was all the time running and making a hole in my mind and eventually in my heart. Then I say, you know what? I have to throw that. I have to throw that and come back to the confidence that is characteristic of me. I was all the time confident. I was very confident in the past. I don't say that I am not confident now because a lot of people talk with me and say, you are so confident. And they say, you don't know what is happening inside.
Yeah, yeah, right?
That you don't know what is really happening inside. But now, in this moment, today, the last month, I have to say that I am so grateful with a lot of people that appear in my way to show me that I need for this journey. That have been a process and a way to realize that I can do it. You can do it. I know that that thing that happened with Roberto, that thing that happened with me, that thing that happened with Carlos is happening with a lot of people that is new here and it's in the same journey that we are. Then it's you are not alone.
I think now you mentioned something very, no, very interesting and very true. Like, I feel maybe before coming to Canada, I was living life by default, like moving by default, and actually that kind of humble different moments that I had working in Safeway, like doing things that maybe I wouldn't imagine myself doing, humbled me a lot, maybe depressed me a lot. I'm almost touched rock bottom, but it made me a lot more self-aware, and I actually started to learn and learn about gratitude. Before maybe
Yeah,
I wasn't a grateful person,
yeah,
and I feel gratitude was a big shift in my mindset. I started to focus more on the small things more than in huge things. And but yeah, because I went before I learned all the things I learned, I was very depressed. Like I was really, really bad in a certain moment. But I think it's okay. Now I'm very grateful because I needed that as well, just to
yeah,
wake up. And then during the way, once I started to learn different things, I started to eat books like crazy. And like I really felt super confident. I felt like I was invincible. Like
yeah,
for example, I was applying to jobs and I knew that things were mine before it even happened. And I was 15 days before being kicked out of Canada. And and my wife was in an anxiety process and she was going crazy she was telling me, hey, like why are you behaving like that? Because I know things will be okay. Like I don't know why, but things will be okay. And things started to happen. Like I remember Barb calling me and she was like a miracle for me in certain moments. And I called me to ask me to apply for this job, and he started to work out. But I feel working with my mind helped me to really feel invincible in a certain moment. Like you could see me returning back at night, like I still told you, in the dark by myself, really feeling like I could eat the world for some
Yeah.
reason. But I was in kind of in the bottom,
Yeah.
but I really felt invincible. So in this case, now changing a bit of talk is now into your career rebuilding. Yeah, and people talk a lot about networking. Okay, I know for you both, networking helped a lot. Tatiana, you, for example, you landed a student assistant position at role at Douglas. I personally work there. I know it's tough to get those kind of positions because a lot of people apply. Roberto, you get into this role in Boomi when you didn't even know anything about AI. So that's a big challenge, and you landed this role, and now you're 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 launching like a rocket. So I'm happy for you. How did networking work for you both to be able to land those jobs?
In my case, I quickly noticed for you, I know that you don't remember that moment, Carlos, but one day I was in the concourse in Douglas, and you was in the table of the career center, and I told you I am new here, I am from Colombia, I am with experience in human resources, and I am looking for this. And you told me, you know what? Don't say anyone, but I know the name of the person that is in charge of the human resources club in the college. You have to talk with him. Look at the name. And I look at the name, and quickly I understand that do networking is one of the first things that you have to do here in Canada. You can't wait to the last minute to do it. You have to do it that since the beginning. And another key things in my case was be involved in the activities and inside and outside of the college. In my case, be part of the Human Resources Club in the college was the first step. The second step was joining to the CPHR member. That is something related with human resources here in Canada for the designation. You have to be part of that because it's cheaper for us like students, but at the same time, it's a very recognized organization that permits you to be involved in different networking events with a high level. The another part was be involved in the community. Be a part of the church in my city was key for obtaining new relationships with different people and start to be a volunteer. That was the key for me too. I was volunteer in Latin Cuba, in the church, in Vision to Reality Foundation. I did my internship. That is the next step for me. But I did volunteer in many organizations for free for almost 8 months, trying to obtain Canadian experience because that is important. Then the Canadian experience that people sometimes think is I'm going to work and I'm going to receive a payment. And it's not the only way. It's different way, but not always it's easy for everyone to catch that first opportunity. For that reason, be involved, be volunteer is a very significant way to obtain experience and gain relationships that after a while are going to be your key for the employed, for obtain employment. My second step was be an internship student. I definitely consider that offer your service like an internship or a co-op student is a good alternative. If you want to obtain experience and you want to be related in a real work space and construct real work relationships, that is another thing that you have to do. Then I am in that point where I am working part-time position with Douglas College now, but I am volunteer here in Vision2Reality Foundation and with another organizations because I know that I have to do it like a part of the process, but at the same time because I feel that I obtain the results that I want, and I feel that I have to come back something to the rest of the people that is in the same journey that I am. And at the beginning, volunteer was like I have to do it, but now is I want to do it because I know that I have something to give another people because I receive from that journey. Then I want to do it. I really want to do it.
Love that.
Then that is my idea about the journey. I am now looking for a full-time opportunity, but that is another thing, another stage. Roberto has that experience.
How about you, Roberto?
I mean, I think for me, I never realized that networking and finding that new position is kind of selling. And I say this now because when I started, like my first tech job was being a sales development representative. What that means is you do everything and anything you can to get a meeting, a conversation with someone at a company you want to do business with. So if you think about it, it's kind of networking. When we are looking for a job, we want to kind of do business with that company. We try to connect with people. We try to understand what they are doing. So for me, I think, Carlos, it started with you. I think my networking here, it started trying to know someone from the career center, connecting with people at Douglas, and I had the luck of having a friend in the career center that told me, hey, maybe man, you need to apply to another position if you want to get that internship. Thanks to that message or a call coming from you, I was able to get that first job experience with the internship. And after that, I mean, networking is amazing. You get to know the place you're trying to get into. So it's not only that you're getting closer to it, but you really learn about it. You learn about the place and you define if that's where you really want to be. Maybe it starts guiding you to similar companies, to companies that have some of those characteristics. So I think that something that I always try to share is try to get as many coffee chats as you can. Think about the position that you want or the company that you want. Once you know the position you want to have or the company you want to be at, then talk to people there. Talk to people in that position or talk to people in that company. No one will be able to give you better advice. Not their website, not ChatGPT, no one. People there, another SDR was able to give me better advice than anyone else in any other part of the world. People from Boomi was able to give me better pieces of advice than any other person in the world. So I think it's just curiosity, maybe
Mm.
sell yourself through questions, because I think I started doing my coffee chats talking about myself and saying, oh, I think I could be a good fit because XYZ. My last coffee chat was just asking questions. The questions that I was asking, I think, demonstrated the research I had done, the knowledge I had from the company, from the position, from the market. So that's how I landed that first big boy job, right? It was through questions, not selling myself at that moment. I just needed the people that gave me that opportunity to refer me, to guide me to a better person. And that's an advice that I would always give to new people coming. Either think about the company or the position and talk to someone there. There's no better way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, the same thing happened as you both. In this case, my I feel the one that connected me with different people that told me to talk to different people was someone from back home that told me to network, but I didn't know how to network. But then I learned the tough way because at the beginning I received a lot of shut doors. I was talking about me, different things, and then I started to research about networking and I learned the best way. And things started to work like magic, like oof, like I had coffee chats, and then referrals and referrals. Actually, I got referred to Shopify. I didn't got the job, but at least, thankfully, and then through networking, I met Barb from Douglas College, and then she was the one that referred me to this role at Douglas College, and now my current role in UBC is because also I network and met different people. So yeah, I feel networking helped me the most than anything. Uh, and if you think on a skill that you will tell someone should have once they come here and they arrive and go through all the hassle of inserting themselves into the job market? What is one skill or one characteristic that you feel is very important to approach the market?
It's a difficult question.
Tati will start.
I can't think one skill in particular, but
Like one thing
that's
that will help you like overall in like your in overall as
I
a
think
person.
that is a combination between be open mind, because if you are focused only in one option that you want, like you say at the beginning, I want to work in this specific place only that day, and it's my only option, my unique option. You don't have the opportunity to learn about different things that are happening around you. Then for me, it's about be open mind and be resilient.
Mm.
Sounds like everyone is going to say that, but no, no, no. You have to understand the real meaning of be resilient, because here, here in Canada, I think so. Here in anywhere,
Like any, I think to be an
in,
immigrant in
in
general.
any immigrant, yes, totally have to be capable to understand that the way is not a straight. You have different curves, and you have to handle with everything at the same time. I don't know if this book exists in English, but I don't know if you have been listening about one. It's a poem, I think so, that is called Ithaca. Some of you heard about that someday.
Ithaca, no?
I
Ithaca
think I haven't.
is a poem that talk about you are in a journey and you want to reach out Ithaca. Ithaca is your destiny. But it's not about Ithaca. It's about what happened during the journey to Ithaca that you are going to find the real meaning. And you are going to find why you are traveling to that place. And all the lessons that you acquire during that journey is for real, the real Ithaca. And when you reach out to Ithaca, you are obtaining the bunch of experience and good things that are with you in that way. Then resilience is about that. Resilience is about to be able to fall down and stand up again and start again and take the best of each experience and using that for the future, for the next step. Make
It, it,
mistakes.
it is something similar to Ikigai.
No, Ithaca.
Ithaca,
I T
interesting.
A C I A Itaca. It's a beautiful poem. It's a
Thanks
poem.
for sharing that.
It's not a book, but I I believe in that. I believe in the journey. I believe that you have to be capable to be resilient with in the oldest station of that
Mm,
world.
love that.
In the oldest station, because it's a big one. Skills that you have to set up.
Love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
How about you, Roberto?
I I always start saying I think for me. Um, my thought here is that it's vision, and it's not because I'm talking with vision to reality. It has nothing to do with branding. I'm not being a marketing person here, but I think vision is really what you need to. I don't know if you ever read about Brian Tracy, Carlos,
Yeah,
but what he
sales.
used to say is sales, personal growth, and something that he always used to mention is once you have your goals defined, it's as easy as following the plan you have. So I think once you really know what you want, maybe it doesn't have to be water clear on, okay, I want to be the director of sales at ABC company, but maybe you know that you want to be a director of sales. Of course, it's best to know when you where you want to become a director of sales, how you want to do it, the positions that you want to go through before that. So I think once you have those goals, It's just a matter of following the plan. So I say vision because I do think it's a skill, and I do think that you need to work on defining your goals, defining the plan, being able to say, okay, in 2 weeks I need to be here, in a month I need to be here, in 6 months I need to be here, in a year I need to be here. And the more detail you can have into that, the higher I feel the chances are you will get it. Because if you break down your goals, I think you get 1% better every day, 1% better every day. At the end of the year, you are not 1% better. Like the compound effect of all that, and that's another book from um, what's Darren Hardy, I believe. I think that momentum and that compound effect, how you're growing. Yes, you're just following the plan that you created in day one, but you will have done a progress, as Tati was mentioning from Ithaca, right? It's not
Yes.
just about that end goal. It's what you've learned and what you've become in the process of getting there. Maybe at the end, you don't want to be a director of sales. Maybe at the end, you
You
want
want
to
to be
be
a
the director of HR. You want to
yeah,
be
totally.
the innovation manager from the company. It's just about redefining the goals, reading them every month, every week if you can, and tweaking them. I think that's something that also most of the authors on personal growth, on personal development, career development, even business administration, Carlos, Tati, I think this is something that we all need. Plans are not set in stone and won't change throughout a year. Strategic plans need to be dynamic, they need to be
Correct.
evolving, and we should treat ourselves as companies in that way.
And have changes, totally. And another thing,
Absolutely.
I want to add something to that. Roberto makes me think about it, and is don't be rushed. Sometimes we want everything now, and I want this now in this moment in this way,
Mm.
and don't be rushed. Best things takes time. And then we have to be calm, we have to be patient, and everything is going to happen if you do exactly that Robert say, one day, one thing at the day, and you are going to take your goal. Totally.
I love that. Yeah, you know, so I did exactly the same thing because I learned the same thing. I read Ryan Tracy and other guys that talk some like similar kind of things. And in a certain moment, I wrote every day what I wanted for each year. And
Mm-hmm.
I also have here some different kind of pamphlets where I wrote what I wanted for my life, 10-year,
Mm-hmm.
5-year with my wife. But in this case, every day I wrote what I wanted for the year, and I was obsessed on rewriting and feeling it because of what I learned as well was, okay, write your vision, but you need to live your vision inside. Like your vision needs to be lived inside. You need to believe it like it was yours already now. And during my mentorship, and Winnie was one of my mentors in certain moments, and she always wrote the things that I said to her. And in a certain moment, she told me, "Hey, do you want to who would be your ideal uh, leader for you?" And I told her this person, etc. Told her the name, etc. And then after I got this job, my current role at UBC, etc. And Rini asked me for the name of my new director. And Rini told me, "Hey, do you remember this time in October you mentioned this person as your ideal leader? Now you and now coincidentally I'm working with this guy." So that those are coincidences. Like I remember also in the thing that happened to me is my PR. I think that was the craziest thing the craziest coincidence maybe. It was like for some reason my objective was to have my PR my last like in my before the end of my third year here. I know what I think my wife saw that it was going to happen in maybe my fourth year
Yeah.
because people were taking really long to receive the PRs.
Mm-hmm.
And I received I received my PR the same day I arrived to Vancouver on my third year.
Oh, that is beautiful, Carlos.
So actually, I remember I
Amazing.
arrived home and I got the PR cards the same day I arrived in Vancouver 3 years ago. And actually, and my wife told me, no way. That's so those are
Actually,
kind of coincidences in life that I take
it's
very
not
personally.
coincidence.
I gratitude. I have a lot of like gratitude for every day on that. But yeah, those are crazy things that will happen once you have a real vision inside you, right? I think that's very
Mhm.
powerful. So thank you
And
both
when you
for
have a vision and you work every day for that, then it's impossible to do another different thing if you are very focused and you are concentrated
yeah,
that you have to do it.
yeah,
Then
because at the end, well, for example, I follow kind of the law of attractions ways, and part of the attraction is there's attraction is this is to word attract and
yeah,
action,
yeah,
right?
totally.
Attraction.
Yeah, totally
So it's
agree.
not like just feeling like, hey, you're
No,
just
no,
feeling.
I
You need to
want
act.
this, I want this. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
you
You
need
have
to
to do
act.
it.
You have to do
Mhm,
whatever you have in your hands, even though
mhm,
it doesn't need to be related with what your main goal, but you need
mhm.
to, of course, attract and act on whatever you have in front of you.
Yeah.
And then it's like the world will confabulate in your favor. But in this case, are you currently do you have any daily habits or tools that help you stay focused on your objectives?
Yes, I have one, and I have to pray every day. That is my habit. For me, it's very important. Everyone has a different way to do it. And other people do yoga, and other people do meditation, and other
Yep.
people do. For me, be connected with the superior energy that I have in my mind, in my heart, is necessary to start every day. The day that I don't pray at the beginning of the day, 5:30 a.m. every day is the first things that I do before to say good morning to my husband. That is the first thing. If I say good morning
Hmm.
without pray, it's different. The meaning is different. He doesn't receive the same. Then I need to pray because that helped me to maintain my hope. At the same time, brings me energy. Give me I don't know. It's something that I can say that is magic. It's fake, but I strongly recommend to be connected with something superior to you in life. I don't say God because everyone believes in different things, and I am very respectful with that. But you need to be connected with something superior that give you hope, faith, and calm. That is pray for me. That is my main habit. I have another habits, but that is the main for me.
And before going to Roberto and Tati, so also you're a mother, you're a yeah, you're a wife,
Yeah,
so a mother of two children.
yeah,
So there's an added ingredient on your side, right?
hmm,
So
totally.
also, what's the motivation? How do you take that motivation, that also challenge? Because not only motivation is so a challenge because you have people behind you counting on you.
Totally.
How do you manage this in your mind?
All this, all this journey is because why them? If you ask me, uh, my husband is a mine engineer
Yeah.
and was working since I am with him 20 years ago. Then it's a lot, the half of my life. Are we together 20 years, and when I knew him, he was a mine engineer. And one of the things that mark the difference in our relationship, this is very personal. Maybe he's going to say, "Why you say that in a podcast?" But I'm going to say that. One of the things that marked the difference in our relationship after 3 years to be together was, I don't know if you are available to live your life with a person like me, because my life is traveling. And I have to say that my husband is a very brilliant person. He's a very brilliant person. I have to say, no, it's not because my husband. He is very brilliant. I am totally objective in that point. He's very smart. He's very disciplined. He has
Well, if you
beautiful.
if you if you married him, he must be very smart. So.
Yes, totally. Additional to that, I knew since the beginning when I knew him that in the future I will be in another place. I didn't know where, but I knew that I will be in another place. Then the situation with us, like a couple, was, if I am with you, you know that eventually I going to move to another place. And I say yes since the beginning. Then in my mind all the time was an option to be me immigrant in some place. I never realized about how that would be. I never imagined this journey that I am living now, because now I am here like an international student pursuing a career in human resources behind him. You know, he's in my side, he's my partner, he's my, I don't know, the key of everything. And we have two kids that we love. And the moment that we take the decision, when we take the decision to come to Canada, was because we feel that we have everything that we need to give, to offer a best future for our kids. Then today, everything that is happening to me, to us, is because we have a plan like family. It's not Tatiana being brilliant in a career. It's Tatiana like a professional. It's Tatiana like a wife. It's Tatiana like a mother that is trying to do the best with my family. Then I am not alone. Without my husband, anything is possible.
Well,
Networking is not possible. Volunteer is not possible without my husband. I need my husband with me.
well,
I need my
actually,
team.
actually, immigrating with a family can do two things: or you get divorced, or
You
it gets
know,
you, or it gets you a lot stronger. Like in my case,
totally.
like it joined us a lot.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it was
totally.
a big move. So
Totally. That is for sure. You have to be strong individually, but
yeah.
if you come with family or all, you have to be strong like couple. Because if you are not in the same page, if you are not in the same journey,
Oh yeah,
things
completely.
can be wrong. But I am
Yeah.
happy. I am happy. My husband is happy. We are in the journey. We are leading with challenges every day. We are raising our kids here. It's
Also,
a
that's part
big,
of the beauty. That's part of the beauty of life
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah. And well, returning now to Roberto, do you have
yeah.
any daily habits, any things that you apply in your daily life?
For me, it's reading. I think, or not. I don't have to say reading. I think it's the books. Like starting every morning, listening at least. Like now, I listen to it because it's on my way to work. Something that disconnects me from reality, and really allows me to be more creative. To think about, I don't know, it could be anything. A lot of the times it's personal development, being able to achieve your goals and techniques, and maybe I can be listening to something on that end. Right now, I can tell you that I'm listening an audiobook from Robert Eager, the CEO from Disney, Walt Disney Company, and it's an amazing book between a bit of business, a bit of personal development, a little bit of amazing stories on how they acquired Marvel and Star Wars and these different companies. So I think the point here is that you need to have some time at some point in the day to let your mind go to another world, think about endless possibilities. And I know maybe this sounds a bit cliche, and maybe it's a bit of sure, whatever you are saying, but it's true. I think we've all discussed this in previous conversations today. It can be attraction, it can be vibes, it can be whatever you believe in, religion, whatever. But if you think about something enough, it happens. And the more you think about it, the closer you get to it. So I think for me, it's books, it's stories, it's experiences and the life of different people that show me that there is a way, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
that's my small habit that I'm
100%.
not losing.
Yeah, I'm actually the last 2 years I have been becoming maybe a bit obsessed on human nature. Like I'm
Yeah,
digging in just to understand people's minds and how they think, and of course how successful people think, because I feel thoughts are so powerful for like
Ah,
that for me. Like I'm very aware of how I'm thinking or what I'm thinking. I'm actually tracking how what I'm thinking at the moment, just to understand where my mind is going. But yeah, I'm really intrigued about human nature,
Have
and
you read Robert Greene,
yeah,
Carlos?
of course.
I
I'm
think
hearing I'm
that's
hearing
the
Robert Greene
book for human.
I'm hearing the audiobook right now. Actually, that's my current book at the moment. Yes, yes.
You're
I also,
reading 48 Laws. Sorry, Tati.
don't worry, go.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if Carlos was reading 48 Laws of Human Nature
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
know he has Human Nature and a billion more titles.
No, yeah. Yeah, and there's other books that and of podcasts are
Mm-hmm.
related to even mental health, mindset, because at the end it all starts with your beliefs and right. So, and your patterns as well, and patterns that you have maybe that were they were not yours, that they were instilled by someone else. So we have I feel my journey to Canada was changing different patterns that I had before and creating my own. So yeah, I'm actually more interested. I was more interested, and also I'm less attached to what people say.
Mm.
Maybe because at the end they're saying things because they're human beings with their
Yeah,
own
totally.
experiences, right? So
Mm.
you're more empathic as well, and less resentful if someone says something that you're not really agreeing on something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so yeah.
Like psychologists, always have been interested in how the human being works and why the human being do certain things. And definitely, everyone has a motivation, and different reason for like act. And sometimes when you are in relation with another people, the best decision that you can take is be surrounded is the correct way, surrounded for people that thinks like you. Because if you are with people that is not in the same page that you, or are all the time criticizing or doing saying things, negative things to you, or punish your plans, that is not good for you. Then
Mm.
you have to take decisions even about who do you permit into your life.
Totally.
Then when you decide that you want to live your life in calm, with positive attitude and with a correct mindset, you have to select even the work partners, the people that work with you, the people that share with you in your personal circle, even in your family. It sounds very rude, but it's totally real. Sometimes people in your family is your worst enemy. Then you have to take hard decisions and say, you know what, if you didn't understand my journey, if you don't want to support my journey, don't be an interruption, because
That's so
you
true.
block my mind.
So true.
Then you have to take that kind of decisions. I don't judge anyone, because I think that everyone acts because they have an history, they have a background, they have something that counts pain. And when you are with pain, you reflect that. When you are happy, you reflect that. When you are sad, you reflect that. Then choose.
No, just so you can absorb other people's energy, right? Other people's
Yes.
vibes.
This Roberto said
Yeah,
in a few minutes ago. Totally right.
yeah,
And
completely. No,
Car-
thanks. Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of Jim Rohn, Carlos.
yeah, for sure.
He was also like and Tati author, and he was the main mentor from the author of the Compound Effect from Darren Hardy, and
Mhm.
he had a really nice quote about this, and it was, "You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with." So if
Totally.
you think
On
about
point.
it, it's not just, oh, I spend 80% of my time with this person, I'm just like him. Maybe you're 80% like him, but
Yeah, totally.
20% like the other four, right? So I think it's
You listen
powerful.
that reflection about your dog is even similar to you. It's because it's always with you. Totally,
Yeah,
yes, you are.
in a certain moment, no, and thanks for bringing this kind of conversation
Yeah.
to these last minutes. But in a certain moment, I go surrounded with different people, and of course, we're immigrants, and it's very easy to get involved in negativity. It's very easy.
Totally,
And
yeah.
I remember Winnie telling me, "Hey, just be careful." And actually, to everyone that I remember, Roberto, like same as you, a lot of people came to my office like week by week just to look at me, to look for me in Douglas College. So I always told everyone, be aware on who you surround yourself with, because
Mhm.
it's very easy to go into negativity,
Yo,
and it will
totally.
can lead you to depression, whatever. So be aware of who surround you with yourself with, and so you can keep yourself motivated, because you need to keep
Yeah.
yourself motivated in this moment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
totally.
can you can risk to be negative. You have to be positive because there's
I
no
have
other
a,
way.
I have an experience about that with a partner in the school that she all the time was so concerned, and every time that we talked, she was a drama, a real drama. Everyone has a drama. I have a drama too. Then she always came with these dramas and this situation that was so bad, passing a bad time, and I always was like, be calm, everything is going to be okay, you are going to do this, you can reach out this situation in this way, maybe. And one day she told me one day, Tatiana, when I am in my worst moment, I always call you because you are always the person that put me again in the land. And I say, no, it's not about me. It's about what do you want to hear. If you want to hear more
Yeah,
drama, you call another person that is going to be in the same page that you, and both are going to cry
yeah,
for that. Maybe you call me because you want to listen that another person thinks that things could be okay. Then that is the reason because you call me. It's not because me. It's because you want to listen something good, not saying that you are listening from you or from the situation. Then she said, "Yeah, you are the person." but
no, no, not
but
completely.
it's yeah,
Also, used my because my wife when she always told me, and before it was like joking like in a bad way, like she always bothered me, like, oh, I always lived in unicorn land. So, so now, after the PR happened and with all those coincidences, now
you
every
say
time
that.
something weird happens, like it's kind of like a strange kind of great thing, it
Yeah,
was, oh, unicorn land, this is working.
totally, totally.
So to wrap up, one question to you both: if you could ask yourself to you, if you could return back and imagine yourself, close your eyes and imagine yourself coming down from the plane, and if you could approach yourself, okay, coming down from the plane, arriving to Canada, if you had like a minute to say something, what would you say?
Wow, Roberto, this is your turn. I need to think.
Wow. Oof.
Hmm.
Oh my God. I think it has to be there's it will be very cliche, but there's no impossible. Like there will be a way.
Mm,
It's definitely not how maybe today you think about it. It will probably be harder. Maybe there are 10 additional steps that are not part of your plan. And even for the people that I think like us did all the research it won't be that straight route that Tati mentioned. There will be way more curves. There will be valleys and mountains, but there are no impossibles here. I think that's the thing that I would say over and over again.
thank you very much, Roberto, for sharing that. You, Tatiana?
I'm not going to say something different. That's a sentence that we create like family when we decide to move to Canada. We have to, as you say, I have two small kids, and that moment when we decided to came here, my big one had 9 years old, and the little one had 4 years old, and we all the time talk very openly about what is going to happen because we have to sell our things, we have to leave our house, we have to give our toys, then we need to
Mhm.
to set. a mindset in them. And we decide to say all the time, we are going to get our heart available, our mind open, and be all the time grateful with everything that we have, everything that we have, and everything that will be have. Then that is something that have been with us since October 2023, October 2024, 2022, when we decide this. And we talk with our kids about this situation. And we say we have to maintain that in our mind. Our heart have to be available to receive. Our mind have to be open to changes. And we have to be grateful in every moment. And I think so that I repeat that if I arrive today to Canada again, and the journey is going to be different if we maintain that mindset in our life.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, you both. No pressure. So I'm super excited on the outcome. Thank you very, very much. On
Thank
behalf of
you.
Vision2Reality, of course.